Welcome back. You got Will and Iman here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Rovi, and Mscribe, and today we have another update on Ethscriptions called Facet.
Facet? Are you fascinated?
I'm fascinated, yes.
All right. So we're going to get into why the rebrand, for one, because I don't know. I kind of liked Ethscriptions. It did seem kind of like lazy because, they truly were capitalizing on the inscription wave. Even though it's not exactly mirror to mirror how Casey Rottenmeier deployed the ordinals protocol. It was like a different spin on that, leveraging, Ethereum's native transactional data components, right? So if you want to know more about how the inner workings of Ethscriptions work, definitely refer to an older video.
Yeah,
I think titled "Will Ethscriptions Kill Ordinals?"
Correct.
Right? So,
I have it here.
There it is. So this is the one you want to go back to if you want to know like the ins and outs of the technicals of what makes them different from ordinals. But so here we are, dude. A couple months later, we got some updates.
We interviewed Middlemarch as well, so we had a discussion with him about an hour long. Definitely watch it on the podcast. You can listen to it on audio version or watch it on YouTube. So, all right, let's see what the update is. So Facet is a new name for the decentralized low-cost computing platform that 0x Hirsch and I are building. Previously known as Ethscriptions Virtual Machine, it is now called Facet. So he's made a couple of changes here. So dumb swap is now dumb scan, and then Facet swap.
No. They're both.
Dumb swap and dumb scan are now Facet swap and Facet scan.
Correct.
However, dumb contracts are too big of a meme to change.
I think I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going if you're. As far as like future narratives go, if you're going to try and convince the ETH degens, I guess degens in general, it's like come to this ecosystem over what already exists with the smart contract systems or whatever.
And you're also calling it smart contracts?
Yeah, you're going to have to make it pretty clear like there's a differentiator between these digital collectible this digital collectible ecosystem compared to what's already been done and what exists today, right? Mm-hmm. So smart contracts versus dumb contracts. There you go. You already got the narrative, the battle set, right?
Yeah. Now everyone's asking, so what is a dumb contract?
Correct.
Right. All right. So why the name Facet? Because we're not here to change Ethereum. We're here to change how you see Ethereum. Just as viewing a gemstone from new angles reveals its stunning facets, changing how you look at Ethereum reveals its untapped potential.
That's actually pretty cool.
Right?
Dude, this guy knows how to like really
spin it, right?
Do something. Like, he knows how to do the touching thing, touch on those heartstrings,
Right.
I like that.
All right, so all the links here will be in the description as well. So in this thread, he points to the website, email, Discord, and GitHub. All right, there's a couple more tweets that we want to go over. So number of inscriptions getting created in each block. So here are the block numbers. All these inscriptions are being created, a couple hundreds.
Can you refresh my memory, like how frequent the block timing is on Ethereum compared to Bitcoin?
I think it was like 10 seconds.
Yeah, every 10 seconds, right? So this isn't like Bitcoin. So we're used to ordinal, right? And roughly every 10 minutes, a new block occurs. And obviously, since ordinals were incepted, they've been heavily flooded with inscriptions. So these counts might not look as,
this is every 10 seconds, 146 inscriptions per 10 seconds.
Yeah, when you contextualize the difference between like block introduction, it's actually pretty impressive. And there's like there's clear indication that, this ecosystem and the usage is growing in demand.
Right. All right, a couple more charts here. Yesterday was a big day for the inscriptions. So we have daily new Ethscriptions. So it took a little dive here after we talked about it. And then it started rising again. Daily new users, same thing. And we have cumulative new users here, over 40,000 so far. So daily active users on the rise again. All right, so just showing some progress here. All right, so let's take a look. Let's go back to our video. And we went to this market called Etch Market. And we're looking at ETHs. And since our video 2 months ago, it's done a 3x. Yeah, roughly 3x. So there's tons of traction happening here.
So why do you think the price has gone up?
Well, I got a tweet that might explain that here. All right, so let's see. So in this tweet, So by middle March again, Ethscriptions update tokens with dumb contracts approaching. I wanted to share something new. What are Ethscriptions tokens? So he kind of explains that. So the new thing that he's introducing is token splitting. So so ETHs, for example, when you buy ETHs, you have to purchase a set of 1,000. Yeah, you have to purchase a set of 1,000. And here he explains that there's a new way to kind of split the tokens so that it becomes easier to kind of leverage in smaller quantities. So there's token splitting comes into play. Splitting is the ability to hold and trade ETHs in quantities less than the mint. To make this a reality, each individual token would have its own bridge. Given the huge community support behind it, we're thrilled to announce that ETHs will be the pioneer Ethscriptions token to have its very own official bridge. We also intend to operate the official bridge for ETH and potentially other assets. User transfers a mint Ethscription to a bridge contract. Bridge contract sends Ethscriptions to bridge dumb contract, notifying the BDC and BSC has received an Ethscription. BDC validates the Ethscription that BSC received. It's a valid mint. If it is, BDC mints the user 1,000 dumb contract ETH tokens. And then user buy and sells uses these dumb contracts. So basically, you bridge your original 1,000 mint ETHs.
Yeah.
You bridge it, and then the dumb contract mints you 1,000 ETHs individual tokens.
Okay, so this Ethscription is it's going to serve as basically like a claim voucher. Once this actual, I guess, a little bit more efficient fungible token model is deployed because of dumb contracts, right? So this ecosystem's definitely, there's a lot of parallels between this and what's happening with ordinals and ERC20s and stuff. It's just both ecosystems are kind of stuck in a very non-usable, very dumb, like, limited, very minimal functional environment, right? So as a result of that, developers can't really come in and really build anything of substance, right? Until these virtual machine mechanics, dumb contracts, I guess on the ordinal side, now with Unisat modules, you got track and pipe building, tap protocol and stuff like that to introduce more function.
Right.
And whatever else comes in the future, there's, Bitcoin virtual machine around there, like this idea.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff doesn't get interesting until all these, new mechanics are deployed.
Yeah, and leveraged by developers.
By devs.
Yeah.
Yeah, until then, we're just kind of stuck in like like what Casey Rodimer calls it, a shitcoin casino.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing, everything is in a state of dumbness, right? You can't introduce anything smart. Correct.
So this is another thing what I found interesting. So Middle March is also introducing DEXs. He's also building centralized exchanges. We'll also be able to list dumb contracts, tokens. The dumb contract token standard aligns with ERC20, making it familiar to centralized exchanges. The ability to split tokens on the dumb contract is only meaningful if you can trade them. So that's why we're excited to announce that we're building out a full-featured dumb contract DEX. So they're making everything. And I was telling you earlier, I kind of like that because they have a huge incentive to kind of push all of this, and they have the technical ability to actually do it all.
Yeah, but do you think they could potentially? Because I don't want to call out the Oshi team here, but I kind of feel like I have to in this specific scenario because it felt like they were in that same bucket of like trying to do everything. Yeah. Right. I remember it's like, that's
true.
It's like, here I am. I want to build a DEX on Bitcoin. Yeah. I'm calling it Oshi Finance, and it's like, oh wait, I can't really do that until there's a virtual machine. It's like, oh, let's call it Boss. We're going to build that too. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, but then we're missing like governance mechanisms. So we're going to call that the ORD. And like they want to, in order for their vision to come to fruition.
Such a good point, dude.
You're going to sit around and wait for other devs to cook all this up, or you're going to build it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think so this is already one example of when you spread yourself that thin. Yeah. Things tend to not come to fruition, and it creates more internal conflict. Yeah. And before you know it, the whole thing comes toppling down. So ecosystems are meant to be like distributed, right? Like in distributed efforts.
That's such a good public service announcement, dude.
Okay. There it is, dude.
Because what we're talking about is on the fringe of all crypto. Yeah. It is extremely risky. Yeah. We don't encourage anyone to purchase or own any of these.
True. And like this is purely all entertainment, right?
This is purely all entertainment.
Correct. So you never know is the point. Yeah, it looks good. I agree with you. It's like, dude, I want my founders in Web3 to be like this ambitious and like have this much clarity in like their roadmap and decision making. Is like, dude, I know I need to do this, and that in order for all this to work.
Yeah.
But then you actually get down to the meat and the potatoes of like coding everything out and figuring it all out outside of just words on text or words on paper.
But you know what? They're standing on the shoulders of giants. There's already smart contracts for DEXs. So maybe it's not too much of a stretch to fork that and just like modify it for a dumb contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, and that's just like one of the things, and I think one of the main speculation points, right? Why the value of ETH token is going up, and people are probably, it's like you're staking your belief in whether or not they can execute on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So like, let's go ahead and buy up these Ethscriptions before they're actual tokens.
Yeah.
You know, in the event they do execute, right?
Yeah.
If not, then oh well, fuck it, another bad bet in the world of crypto.
Remember that conversation with Middlemarch? He's got a ton of energy.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure a lot of those people making those bets, they've done their analysis and their due diligence on the man himself.
Right.
You know, I was like, you know what? I like this guy.
Yeah.
I feel like he actually has real conviction, and you know, if he's shown enough to like competency.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna stake my bet in that. So, I mean, ultimately, a lot of this is how crypto works. You have to put a lot of faith if you want to get that super maximum upside potential yield.
Right.
You know, whenever things are early and much more uncertain, right? Otherwise, you got to wait for more certainty to come. Valuations are going to be sky high, and you know your upside potential is limited as a result.
Yeah. But yeah, full disclosure, I do own one of these, like
just one
of these 1,000.
And I own a MF per, just one. I wish I had more, dude, but because I actually really like those guys, they're freaking cool.
Yeah.
But the MF pers have also gone up in value too. So
yeah, I mean, after we interviewed Middlemarch, I kind of like everything he was saying. I was like, you know what, I'm in.
Yeah, and it fits along with our thesis of like what is going to be interesting or attractive to a new generation of Web3 exploiters in the future, right? Exploiters, explorers, whatever you want to call them, dude.
Yeah.
Web3 citizens, you know, are they going to come back and repeat the same shenanigans of times past? Like we're going to tell them all to mint these NFT JPEGs
again,
or fuck around in these DeFi protocols.
Yeah, and history has shown us that that's not the case. Right?
Yeah, typically these degens seek newness and something.
Yeah, just think, if you were in the last cycle, in the 2021 cycle, do you remember anyone talking about ICOs at that time?
No, they're just reminiscent. This is like,
reminiscing.
Like nostalgia of like the good times. That's about it. Right. Yeah, everything was new and fresh, right? Exactly. And that's why we had such a manic like ecosystem outside of just people pouring money into Bitcoin. There's a lot of shit to do. So here we are. This is the newness, right? Digital artifact space originated on Bitcoin with ordinals, has now traversed to Ethereum with inscriptions, and pretty soon, it feels like this is going to become like the umbrella like narrative for all of Web3 in the coming year or two.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you're a developer and you want to contribute to this this Facet paradigm that Middlemarch is building, the link here for joining the Discord is there, and I think they have their GitHub link as well. So,
yeah, we're gonna keep our eyes on this, and we're eagerly awaiting this the deployment of more functionality for Ethscriptions and for Facets.
Facets, yeah,
and for ordinals. And for Bitcoin, and we're waiting around to see, the developer playground really kind of like the grand opening of that.
That's right,
and because that's when things get exciting,
Yeah, and the halvening is coming up, so that's like the gun firing where the markets start to fire up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for us. We talked about Ethscriptions, Facet update. And if you guys find anything out there that we should know about, let us know in the description below. Follow us on all our Twitter accounts, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.